Howdy everyone! With the Nintendo Switch 2 coming out and dominating everyone's YouTube feed, I figured what a better time to look back at my Switch library and talk about my favorite games on the console. So today I'm counting down my top 15 Nintendo Switch games of all time, with honorable mentions of course, and trust me, this list was a brutal list to narrow down. Let's dive in. Quick note, this list is totally based on my personal taste. I've not played every single Switch game out there, so this list is a reflection of my personal games on the system. If your favorites didn't make the cut, drop them in the comments. I might even feature them in a future video. Alright, let's start strong at number 15, which is Tetris 99. Tetris 99 was one of the only times that I really played Tetris for more than an hour. There's been a billion other iterations of this game on a bunch of other consoles dating back all the way back to the NES. But the difference with this game is that it's a battle royale game, and the battle royale component of the game allows other players to target you and add blocks to your Tetris board, which is a great way to introduce a lot of tension and make the game a lot more enticing. I play this game endlessly, and it's my go-to game when I'm not really sure what to play when I boot up my Switch. Number 14 is Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. This is the first mainline Pokemon game on the Switch that wasn't a remake, and I remember it being really controversial at the time when it came out. I personally bought it because I saw Grookey, and I love that Pokemon design. I love Grookey, and nobody can tell me otherwise. And it just looked like a pretty decent Pokemon game. The game also introduced the Wild Area, which was a precursor to both the Arceus and Pokemon Scarlet Pokemon mechanics, which again was a great introduction to the Pokemon series as a whole, and made the game a lot more fun to explore, and it introduced, like I said, a lot of mechanics that would be showcased in later mainline Pokemon games. Alright, next is number 13 with Luigi's Mansion 3. I recently saw this video from Beat 'em Ups talking about his tier list of Pokemon Switch games, and when talking about Luigi's Mansion 3, he called it a forgettable game, quote unquote. I agree in some ways. I did have a ton of fun playing this game. For anyone who's watched my top 10 GameCube game video, you already know that I'm a huge fan of the Luigi's Mansion series, and this game really delivers in being a Luigi's Mansion game. This is also one of the best looking Switch games out there, and the gameplay is classic Luigi's Mansion. The big gimmick this time around was Gooigi, which I thought was cool, introducing a lot of new puzzles into the gameplay. And the only thing that I really lament is that I wish it could be a little bit more, spooky. But honestly, that's my only nitpick. Alright, let's move on to number 12, which is Metroid Dread. What can I say about this game that hasn't already been said? Metroid Dread is an incredible entry to the Metroid franchise. It's a sequel to Metroid Fusion, which is an already great game, and they just amp it up to 10. The ambiance is incredible, the gameplay is addicting, the parry mechanic is a lot of fun when you can get it. The EMMI robots are anxiety inducing, and the gameplay is just really a lot of fun, exploring all of the different areas of the game and really discovering new items and also new features for Samus to use is always a blast. And honestly, I haven't had this much with the Metroid game in recent memory since playing the Game Boy Advance ones or playing Prime. So in that regard, it's an amazing game. Number 11 is Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening is a remake of a Game Boy title by the same name. It was completely reimagined for the Switch with a beautiful new art style and visuals, and to me it's one of the most unique Legend of Zelda games ever made. I'm always mind blown that a game like that was made for the original Game Boy, because it packs so much content into such a tiny little handheld device. A lot of people have a lot to say about the art style, but to me, I really enjoyed the way the game felt and looked. It played really well into the dreamlike state the story tries to tell you, and I know we're talking about the first Switch, but seeing the performance upgrades for the Switch 2 makes me really want to go through and play it all over again. Alright, with that being said, into the top 10 we go, starting with number 10, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. As you may have already noticed with my previous videos and now me talking about several platformers already within the 15 to 10 range of the Switch 1 games, I love platformers and I love Metroidvania games. This one is a spiritual successor to the Castlevania series and franchise, and to me it's an amazing game. The 8-bit style works really well, especially for a handheld like the Switch, and it plays like you would expect for a Castlevania game. Not really much more to say other than if you haven't tried it, I would highly recommend. This is a great game, especially on the go. Alright, number 9, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Bigger, bolder, and somehow I still think Breath of the Wild is better. That doesn't mean in any way, shape, or form that this game is bad. It's an incredible game, and even more incredible when you realize the console that you're playing on. I love the introductions to the sky areas and the depths. It brings a whole new side of Hyrule to explore. But there are 2 reasons that I ranked Breath of the Wild higher, and it's because the fact that this reuses so many aspects of Breath of the Wild, and the other reason is the performance of this game. The way it runs on the Switch really leaves a lot to be desired, especially in docked mode. Having a Switch 2, the performance and the visual quality of the game really invigorated my love for this game, and I haven't put it down since. That being said, this is still an incredible entry to the Switch library that anyone would be silly not to try. Moving on to number 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. To me, this is the ultimate Mario Kart game. I love all the tracks, the music, the robust online mode, and all the different characters and carts that you can use. I do wish there were more things like time trials or mission modes like the DS version, but this is the definitive Mario Kart experience. There's a reason why this game has sold over 65 million copies. My main is either Yoshi or Roy, by the way, if you care to know. Number 7, Celeste. This is one of my top 5 2D platformers of all time. Seriously, if you've not played Celeste, you need to get it like right now. The story, the gameplay, the collectibles. It's an all-time favorite game for me, and it deserves all the hype and praise it gets. Again, if you have not gotten it, what are you doing? Number 6, Sonic Mania. This is the definitive 2D Sonic game. It's a love letter from fans to fans. It plays great. The art style looks incredible. The levels are fun to run through, and the boss fights are also awesome. It's extremely replayable with a second mode that you get to use the 2 additional players if you have Sonic Mania Plus, totaling 5 different characters to play through the story, and they all provide a unique gameplay experience. Top 5 time. The absolute legends of my Switch library are right here, starting at number 5, Pokemon Scarlet. This game could have been the best Pokemon game ever, if it weren't for all the performance issues present with the game. That being said, this is the most innovative game the franchise has made, which isn't saying much, but I do think it's a welcome change. The fact that you can just run around and see these Pokemon and engage, catch them or battle them is really sick in my opinion. I'm also biased because I hate randomized encounters, but that being said, the addition of the Titan Pokemon, the Team Rocket edition, knockoff team, whatever they're called, I don't even remember, and the 8 gyms leaves you with 32 gym level type battles to overcome, which is really nice. It's also nice that there was no linear direction to battle the gyms, which made exploring the world feel a lot freer. Number 4 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is, like many of the other games on this list, the definitive version of this game for the franchise. It has every single character from all the other games and then some. It has every single stage from all the other games on top of a lot more. It has so many different ways to play, a robust online mode. It was the game that drove a lot of people to the Switch. I remember every single Nintendo Direct after the game was announced was to see if like a new character was going to show up or whatever. And it was pretty integral to the system sales, just like Mario Kart was, and same for Breath of the Wild. Truly incredible game in the series. Number 3, Super Mario Odyssey. Mario, a cool hat, and a dinosaur. 10 out of 10. Seriously though, this game made me feel like I was playing Super Mario 64 all over again. The sense of wonder and excitement exploring all these different worlds made me feel like a kid. And there are parts of the level where I would just look and say, ooh, what's there? Or, oh my god, I can do that? Like when I first turned into a frog, or when I first turned into a dinosaur, or when I first went into 2D for the first time. I mean, there's so many cool parts of the game, and it just incentivized me to explore every single inch of the levels in this game. Number 2, Pokemon Arceus. Pokemon Arceus is the way I feel every Pokemon game should strive to be like. Solid performance, a great sense of explorability, and awesome Pokemon. This game made me want to catch every Pokemon I saw. And even though I still think that there are things that you can improve upon with the game, it's still my second favorite Pokemon game of all time behind Emerald. The only other thing that I can say is that I hope they release a Switch 2 version of the game that has enhanced visuals and better FPS, just so that I can play it even more. Okay, so before we move on to the number 1, I'm going to talk about my honorable mentions. These are games that could have been number 15, but wasn't there for one reason or another. I'll start off with ARMS. ARMS, in my opinion, is overhated. I think it has many areas where it can be improved, but the core gameplay is really great. I love the characters as well. They're fresh and interesting. I use Twintel because, I mean, come on. And I hope Nintendo makes a sequel with, that keeps the gameplay, but adds all the content the original game should have been released with, like a good online, a good online mode, you know, a couple of like mission modes. I mean, all of the things. It was a little lazy of a release, in my opinion, and that's why a lot of people kind of shit on it. Okay, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee Pikachu. This game is another visually great looking game on the Switch. I love the direction it took with its art style, and while I do think the catching mechanic it was a bit easy, I still think it's fun to go around and catch Pokemon. This game is a remake of Pokemon Yellow, so at its core, it's still a really, really good game. And they did the most important thing about a remake, which was not mess up the core game. Pokemon Brilliant garbage. Alright, Super Mario 3D World / Bowser's Fury. I was kind of late for both of these games, but what a blast. To be honest, this would have been my top 10 if it weren't for the fact that Bowser's Fury was a little bit of a technical mess on the Switch. But it was still really fun to play through and one of my favorite games to play on my Shmemulator on my PC. Messenger. This is another 8-bit 2D platformer which is also based off of another popular series, Ninja Gaiden. I think this game has a lot of charm and it's also really fun to play through. Again, another great recommendation and not a very expensive game if you want to try it out. Mario Party Superstars. I haven't personally played Jamboree yet, which a lot of people say is their favorite Mario Party for the Switch, but this one is my go-to for now. It has a lot of the OG Mario Party games, which are my favorite mini games in the entire franchise. That and a lot of the boards are also from previous Mario Party games, which make them extremely fun to play through. Now with that taken care of, we can go to our number 1 on the list, which is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I honestly had something pre-scripted for this whole thing, but I have a lot of personal opinions about this game, and I kind of just wanted to go a little off the cuff with this last one, because it does mean a lot to me. This is the launch Switch title for the Switch. It was a cross-gen release from, you know, the Wii U to the Nintendo Switch, but it was a Switch game. It is a Switch game. It is, to me, the definitive Switch game, a perfect game at that. It's one of my favorite Legend of Zeldas of all time. The way that you can explore and mess around with a lot of the game mechanics can allow you to pour hours and hours and hours into the game. And I remember when it first released, I had a roommate of mine, he got it for his Wii U. I actually played it a lot on his Wii U before playing it on my Switch, just because we were playing together and just like fucking around with the whole game. And it was just amazing to really see, like, after so many years of kind of like expecting certain things for Legend of Zelda games, this game breaking a lot of those expectations and really just throwing it out of the water, out of the park with what you can do in the game and the level of creativity that these developers had in making the game. It's just an incredible game all around. You're silly if you haven't even at least tried the game. If you have a Switch and you don't have Breath of the Wild, what are you doing? Get the game like right now. Thanks again for watching this video. It was a lot of fun to make this. And if you like this video, like and or comment down below and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks again. Bye.